Hey Amy, let me take a couple of minutes and go over a few things on your spreadsheet. You changed some things kind of per my recommendations, and a few others you kind of did some different things. So let's take a look. I think your startup is okay. You know, we've got the same amount of sources and uses. I'm okay with that. On your opening day balance sheet, we now have a mistake here. You can see up here your startup expenses are, or I mean your prepaid expenses here are your startup expenses C55 plus startup expenses C52. But when I click here on other, now you've got startup expenses C52 plus startup expenses C53. So you've got C52 in there twice, which is your, I'm sorry, here it is your 52's in there twice, which is your rental. Okay, 52 and 52. So let's take 52 out of this one. Okay, it's just an idea. Okay, so that changes ours, and then we don't have that rental as a prepaid expense. Now, that rental, I'm still, you know, I kind of talked about that, and let's assume that it's a deposit. Okay, I don't know if that's why you put that there or not, if that's a deposit or if that is a actual rent beforehand. Okay, but let's say it's a deposit. If it's a deposit, it's okay to have that here on your prepaid expense, as you've got it as other. I'm gonna say, let's see, let's call that what it is, 52 and 53. So it's rent and utility deposits. So let's change this so we know. Rent and utility deposits. Okay. Okay, and that kind of changes. I'm still balanced here. I've still got my total assets 4406. My total liabilities are here 40 liabilities and net worth 4406. So I'm pretty cool there. Okay, taking a look at the monthly income statement, you've got the utility deposit here, and that would be an error. Okay, we don't write off that utility deposit because if it's truly a deposit, that's going to stay on the books. Okay, and that'll stay on the books until you close the business or move out, right? It's technically your money that your landlord's going to hold, you know, until some point in the future. So let's delete that 500 there if we can, if it will let us. My computer, of course, is going to blog up a little bit here, but I'll try to get that deleted. Sorry, it's really bogging down right now. And I kind of wanted to move forward. I had everything in line, and I can't even move my cursor to put it on pause, so you're just going to have to bear with me for a little bit until my computer unfreezes. Maybe I can move my cursor, but it doesn't want to do anything. So give me a second. Give it a second. I'm ready. My computer is not. And it's really being nasty. Yeah, let's turn. Too, I could maybe earn a little extra money on the side, so that's probably not going to happen. Can you imagine somebody sponsoring videos about business finance? It would be like, who in the heck is going to watch anything like that? Okay, well, the wheel is turning. I don't know if I can make this happen. I would pause this thing until this thing decides to get going, and I'm trying to think if I know any good clean jokes that I could tell you while I'm waiting. Um, the problem with that was the clean part. You see, I probably have a fine repertoire of jokes, but unfortunately most of those I'm not able to tell. I'm going to pause this if it's going to let me until, oh sure, now it's going to start working anyhow, so I won't pause it. I'll just come back and go to work. So we got rid of that utility deposit, okay, for $500, right? I want to check your interest expense here and just make sure you took it from the right place, because you're having problems for whatever reason, especially on the cash flow, identifying the correct principal payment. H19, you're one off there actually. And let me show you. So your first interest it comes from your loan amortization and from your first payment. And I'm wondering if it's maybe because you're clicking on it, and you know, see this moves up and down. I can scroll this up and down, okay? But your first, you need to move it over here too, okay? If you move it all the way here to the left, it's got the payments numbered. And your first interest payment, the amount didn't change here, okay? But it's this one. It's $17.91, and it is cell H18. Okay, that's how I knew that this was wrong, because you've got, oops, you've got H19, right? And so that should be H18. Okay, so you probably need to fix all of those. I don't know if you could move them all. You might be able to. You know, if you could take these and grab that and just move it one over. Yeah, well, we'll see if it's gonna replace the data, see if that works. Then you'd only have to fix the one. By golly, I think it did. So we can fix this one by saying that's equal to this H18. Okay. And I don't want to have decimals, so I'm just going to round it off here. There we go. Oops, and I needed to put it in as a negative, and I didn't do that, so I'll change my sign up here to a negative, and we'll be okay. Okay, so do that, and then I think your income statement's probably okay. We'll take a look. Your cash flow, let's take a look here. We've got to make sure this matches the startup, and I think that we were missing a couple of things. I'm going to move your startup for now over here by the cash flow, just so I can flop back and forth between them a little. We got to get so your cash is at 1,000, right? Which is going to be this number right here. So we're missing some things. We've got some problems with some things here. 6256, I believe that's the correct amount for your source of funds. Yeah, it is. Okay. Your capital equipment is 1686. You've got that in there correctly. Okay. Location and admin expenses are 3,100, and those are probably divided up a bit. Okay. You probably got your legal and accounting in there. Oh, let's see, what else do you have in that location and admin? Your rental deposit, your utility deposit, and your prepaid insurance. So let's go take a look at those. You got your insurance, got your accounting and legal. This is rent, and that's your deposit, and you're missing your utility deposit. Okay, and so we need to put that in here. Equals our startup expenses, our utility deposit. Okay. Oops, that gets us a little bit closer, except I think that, let's take a look. We're 120 bucks off, and I'm guessing that's probably your sign, because we've probably got your advertising at 470, and that includes the sign. Okay, and so we can either reduce this if we want the sign to be separate, and that's fine. We'll reduce this to $350. I'm sorry, I should link it, because that's what I preach to you guys all the time. So that'll be my advertising here plus my printing. Okay, now this equals $1,000, so I'm a lot more confident here that my startup is correct. Okay, Now then, I've got some issues here, probably because I changed that, so I need to make sure that my interest is locked in here to this monthly income statement, to this one. Okay, oops, and I got to change that to a negative, so I got a negative of a negative. Okay, and now I need to pull that along here. Okay, now we get to this, and you've got loan amortization for your principal, so you went kind of backwards. You got loan amortization G33. Okay, and I know that that's wrong for the principal because it's going to be number 18 again here, right? So you're going to be off there, and so we've got to come in again. You might have to make sure you move that loan amortization so you can see those things. These ones are going to have to painstakingly be put in one at a time, so I'm not going to be able to show you each and every one of those, but I'll do the first one there, right? Make sure that it's payment number 1 in the principal portion, right? Okay, so you're probably $5 off. You know, it's probably about $60 off if we get to the end and we see you know, whether we're balanced or not. Okay, so let's go take a look at that balance sheet and take a look at a couple of things. Now, our opening day balance sheet, our $400, that was our insurance, and you correctly wrote that off here. Okay, so because that's written off, then it does not come over to here. Okay, if on the other hand, remember we said that this was our rent and utility deposits. Okay, deposits are going to stay on the books, right? We'll get those back, so I can make this just simply equal to this. Okay, and I also know that because I didn't write either one of those off on here. Okay, nor should I have. Okay, so now I'm a little bit more confident there. I think these things look okay. Now you've got deposits here, and I think that might be doubling down on the deposits. Okay, and they could stay up here as a current asset or not. So, but I think we're doubled down, and so I'm gonna get rid of those. Okay, our sign. Let's see here. You did something interesting with the sign. You wrote it off here. Okay. Now the problem with that is when you come over to the cash flow then, because you paid for the sign here, right? So it's already on the cash flow. Okay. And so in this case, I don't want to copy this one all the way over. I'm going to get rid of this $120. Okay, because I already wrote that sign, or I wrote the check for it. I paid for it here. Okay, I wrote it off here, and that's fine. Okay, because you wanted that to be on that income statement as an expense. Okay, and because I wrote it off, then I've got a 0 here. Okay, so there I'm 16,315. I think you've got your debts and stuff here. Okay, and I'm 16,391 here, so I'm about $80 off. I think you're okay here. I'm guessing then that is probably just that